Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's session, Path to Production with GenAI Application with Coursera. My name is Anna. I'm an event planner for Reactor, joining you from Redmond, Washington. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and on topic. Keep an eye on the chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters to answer live. The session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our presenters. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hello. Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for jumping into the webinar. And today we are going to talk about path to production with GenAI application with Coursera. And I'm part of a global brand specialized into Azure OpenAI and Azure AI services. It's been decades of experience working across complex NLP and computer vision workloads. And we have done a lot of work for Coursera for the last couple of years to build the entire GenAI architecture with Azure OpenAI. Today, we're going to share all the story, the journey around how did we build this GenAI platform for Coursera, and some of the challenges, hurdles that we run across, and how did we solve all of them, right? And with that, with me, I'm very honored and also welcoming Winnie. She's from Coursera. She's from engineering team, and she's going to be along with us and sharing this exciting journey as well. So, Winnie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sounds good. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here with everyone today. So again, my name is Winnie. I am a senior software engineer manager at Coursera, which I led the grading team since 2022. Our team focuses on building scalable, high quality, and cost-effective grading solutions. A little bit about myself. I have worked on large-scale enterprise solutions across multiple industry like workforce management, customer solutions, and education technology. And the different experience really helped me to gain different perspective. And then as a parent of two, I understand the transformative power of education, which really drive my passion for making world-class learning accessible to all. And it's also the reason why I'm super excited about Gen AI technology because it removed the technical barrier and opened up new possibilities for everyone that we couldn't even imagine 2 years ago. So looking forward to share my experience and insight with you all today.
Thank you, Vinny. I always learn everything every single day when I talk to you. This is a great introduction. We are looking forward to listen to your experience as well. Before we dive deep, so there are things that we want to cover today. So we will understand the Coursera mission, especially in AI. Then we will talk about different use cases that Coursera want to continue. We'll pick one of the use case, and then we'll set the stage on path to production, which means we'll go over the proof of concept, we talk about the problems, and then how do we productionize the use case with Azure OpenAI. And especially, we will also address some of the challenges around performance and scale, and we will go into some MLOps process. For example, how do I monitor, how do I improve my performance of my applications? And it comes to accuracy, it comes to F1 score, precision recon, all of that, and then we will take up the questions you might have. With that, why don't we get started with this? So Winnie, for listeners, for us to understand, why don't you give you an overview of Coursera in general, especially in AI and education?
Sounds good. So Coursera was launched in 2012 with a mission to make high quality learning accessible to everyone. Our goal is to empower individuals with the knowledge and skill they need to pursue the passion and advance their career. So today, Coursera is one of the largest online learning platform globally, serving over 155 million registered learners across the globe. Our success is really built on top of our partnership with more than 325 leading university and industry partners like Yale, Stanford, and of course, Microsoft as well. So together, we provide flexible, affordable, and job-relevant online learning to individual and organization worldwide. So I can talk a little bit about our AI strategy as well. Our focus of AI is really deeply rooted. Andrew Ng, he's one of our co-founder. He rationalized online learning with his very popular machine learning courses. And while AI content has always been very popular on Coursera, it used to be more catered toward the people who are building the model. But GenAI is different. It's really about everyone who's using it and how everyone can use it effectively as well. So we have courses that's designed for everyone, whether or not you're HR, sales, marketing, or software. We have GenAI specific courses that is built tailored to different audience. In fact, we have over 350 courses specifically on GenAI that's already available. And one course, for example, is the Generative AI for Data Science, which we developed in partnership with Microsoft.
Yeah, this looks like a 325 leading universities, 155 million registered learners. I can't think of your assistants that you're trying to build on, or you already built on Azure OpenAI platform, and how is it scaling and supporting this use cases on our platform, right? 355 GenAI courses, and no wonder. So sometimes I've taken a course specifically focused, want to learn more about healthcare. So I've reached out to, of course, in Coursera, and it has a lot more content focused on GenAI and also different industry verticals. So I'm also one of the learner and active learner in Coursera, Vinny. That's interesting to share.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, maybe you can take a guess. How often do you think a learner is enrolling into our platform on GenAI specific content?
Are you talking about a month? Are you talking about a year? Or are you talking about hour?
Yeah, maybe think about an hour. Let's take a guess.
25, 30
20?
students per hour.
Uh,
Yeah. Mhm.
the demand is much higher than that. In fact, we are talking about like every minute there's 4 to 5 people around the world would enroll in GenAI related content on Coursera. This is like 4 times um, the way that we see in 2023, which really shows how much more attention, how people are really adopting to this technology. In fact, even our CEO, Jeff, he personally authored 8 of the Gen AI courses himself on the platform. And one is called Navigating Generative AI, a CEO playbook. It specifically target leaders in different industry, and it has over 6,000 or nearly 6,000 enrollment. It kind of just think about it, just imagine the potential impact of having 6,000 teams or company transforming the operation with AI is really like impressive to see how widespread the engagement is at all levels. Hi, just checking. Ghana, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I think there was some internet disconnect there. Okay, no worries. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you for sharing with me. Can you still hear me?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah,
Well,
awesome. Great. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So let's talk about this. Why don't we get into some of the use cases that you built on top of our Azure OpenAI, Azure AI services? And I do see that in core centralized AI platform is you use Azure OpenAI, SLMs, LLMs, machine learning services to arcing tuning the models and images and transcriptions. And maybe why don't we go and high level talk about some of the use cases that you've used to build on our Coursera GenAI platform.
sounds good. Yeah, not only do we offer a lot of Gen AI content, course content, we also been like using that and integrating that technology into our platform as well. So we have, as you mentioned, we have multiple use cases that's already leveraging LLM and OpenAI, so OpenAI to enhance the learner's experience and uphold academic integrity. So maybe let me give you one major use case that we have seen a lot of impact. It's called Coursera Coach. So Coursera Coach is an AI-powered learning assistant that provide personalized guidance to a learner. For example, like it can help you to understand the course content better, help you dig deeper into it, or even creating interactive practice so you can take before like doing a graded assignment. So this is our intention. It was really to provide the guidance. But our earlier research actually showed us that learner is getting more value out of it. They actually feel like they have a friend to take the course together with, where they can talk about the course and then even like we review the course together. So it really makes the whole learning journey more enjoyable and effective. And then on the other side, from our course content producer, we also have a feature called Course Builder. A course builder is an AI-assisted offering tool that allow an organization to create courses that blend recommended Coursera content together with their own content. So they can upload either their course outline or tell us like what kind of courses they want the content to be, and then our AI, our LLM will help it assist to find the most suitable content that they can use, and then on top of it, add their own personal touch, add their own assignment, add their own content to make it their own course. So it really helped to dramatically reduce the time and cost of content production without sacrificing any quality. And of course, we have AI assessment generator as well to help instructor to create new assessment that's diverse enough to tailor into to each courses.
Interesting. So we're talking about for a learner's perspective, you have a Coursera coach. That's where typically you come into the course and you can ask questions about, okay, summarize me for the content, or quiz me something, or challenge me on something on a specific course content. I get questions get generated by the Coursera AI coach. On the other side, you have a content producer where you can, as an educator, you can go and create the content, right? So if I want to be educated within Coursera, I can come and create the content easily within here. So it will be like a couple of minutes. I have my content is getting automated or created by Coursera content producer. I can publish it online, right? It's that simple and easy, right?
Yeah, so you can see, I can show a little bit of a experience of how it looks like. You go next slide. So this is our Coursera coach. In here, you can kind of see a learner is maybe stuck on this Python course content, and then they want to understand it better. With just a click of button, they can bring up coach and then ask coach to like help it to understand that piece of content more. And then what's good about it is you can continue to chat with it to understand that area a lot more. Maybe you have your own question that you want to ask. So that was something like much more personalized, and you can really tailor to what every learner's need. Yeah. And then this is Course Builder. So Course Builder in here is an offering tool. I would say it will take more than a couple of minutes to create a very interesting course, but this will significantly reduce the time it takes from before maybe months to like really within days, like within even a day. Like I guess the time it takes is really to think about what content you really want to offer versus then in previous time a lot of the different time spent technically on creating the content itself, which is really
Yeah.
where we want to spend the time on, right?
Absolutely, it's definitely making a lot of sense for creating the content. The folks, I think the listeners for in the call, like wanted to understand. We support different type of models within Azure OpenAI Studio, Azure AI Studio, for example, like GPT-4, GPT-4. I mean, even when it comes to transcription and translation using Whisper, and Coursera is a pioneer in using some of these models and building out the GenAI assistants as well. So one thing I want to talk about is in Azure AI Studio. It's a journey that we are together. It's interestingly, I want to call out how Coursera is actually partnered with, and then we ran a program called Makeathon for basically bringing out some of the ideas into reality. So it's a company-wide Makeathon, I would call hackathon for Coursera. So Coursera have actually used Azure AI Studio, and I would call within a couple of days, they built out over 50 different ideas. It turned out into production, or maybe make it as a future, right? So the AI Studio will help you to, if you're a developer, you consider using AI Studio for developing your application and deploying it, and also manage and monitor your applications as well. So do you have any feedback on the Makeathon hackathon project, Winnie, that we did together?
Yeah, so we're totally our honor to be able to partner with Microsoft this year to on our annual hackathon, which we call Makeathon, where we really take a week off to like bring innovative ideas to life, very creative idea, usually is 1 week might not be like enough, but with like tools like AI Studio, it's really help us to minimize a lot of the technical time that we have to spend, and then allow us to really spend the time on the creative side of it, like the problem solving, how we can creatively solve the problem, right? So that has been a very interesting journey. And of course, partnering with Microsoft means we have expert like Anna to come and give us like different talks, different seminar to introduce us to new technology and what we can look for and so forth. So that has been really, really educational for us as well.
Fantastic. And we do use provision throughput, like to provide guaranteed latency for Coursera assistants as well. We're going to talk about that in the next couple of slides to give you almost guaranteed latency for your applications as well. Let's move on. So now I want to get into a different type of use case when it comes to education. And personalized learning is something that we have seen the Coursera use to build an AI coach and also course builder applications. So including accessibility, for example, translation or even a captioning, you're trying to get AI literacy. These are like key difference like use cases that Coursera are trying to launch. But there is one use case that we want to take it, and there's an example, and then move it from proof of concept to production, right? So that is the grading, because AI grading is one of the challenge to use cases within education. It's difficult to automate the grading process, but yeah, it requires a lot more thought process. How do we build this? So Winnie, do you have something to share about why did you pick this AI grading use case first of all?
Yeah, sure. So at Coursera, we have various type of assessment, and among them, open-ended question is the most challenging to grade at scale. Traditional computer program just like cannot really evaluate this question very effectively. But we do believe that open-ended question can are critical to the learning process, because this is where kind of learner can apply the critical thinking skill and practical application of the course content to life. So it's our team's mission to find a solution to that. So initially, our strategy is to use peer review. So for peer to review each other, you can foster that learning environment, collaborative learning environment, and then also enable that scale grading in scale, right? But there's some pain point to it, like, as you can see from the screen. A lot of the time, a learner would like spend the effort to work on the assignment. Only when they click submit, and then they will have to go and start waiting. A couple of days later, maybe they'll come back and then see, oh, I got some feedback, but the feedback is not very helpful. Yep, 3 days later, and then yes, we only get back on good. It was a good submission, right? It's not really helping the learner to improve. And that long wait time, sometimes like it does mean the learner might already move on to something else and may not be able to go back to the feedback, right? So those are some of the pain points we always have been wanting to solve. And when LLM come in, that's when kind of we see the opportunity. Maybe there's now a way we can solve it. So that's kind of our problem statement.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you define the problems here. Of course, the problem is like you wanted to make sure you want to automate the grading.
Yep. So, yep.
Right. I mean, definitely, and also low quality feedback that you called out. But before you use Azure, why don't you give us a reason? Why did you pick an Azure that time to go with Azure OpenAI for building out the GenAI platform?
Sure. So when we first started, we started thinking about this very early on when when ChatGPT really like get the world's attention, right? So at that time, Azure was one of the first provider that offers scalable and production-ready API support for OpenAI models. The secureness, the scalability, and also they offer robust data privacy. This is really what we need to be able to offer features to our learner. Very critical to us because it ensures the integrity and confidentiality of our learners' data while providing a reliable and scalable solution.
Awesome. So you're talking about secured, trusted, and scalable platform, especially for Azure. That gives you like again, so that gives you confidence for building your GenAI platform on Azure, right? That's what you're talking about. Going with the grading AI use case, it makes sense you picked Azure platform. And I mean, for especially for the listeners, check out our Azure AI Studio. It's a comprehensive platform, and we have over 1,600 models. It could be even 1,700 now. I don't know. Every day we add more models into Azure Studio. So given access to different type of models, it could come from OpenAI, from open source, like Meta. Explore. The good thing is you can just type a Studio, Microsoft, look for the information. You will be able to list all those models as well. So when it comes to content, you have a lot more tools that are available for make it deploy the application so easily into production, right? Okay, so thank you, Vinny, that you chose Azure AI platform. Tell us more. Tell me about the architecture.
Yeah, so before we actually get into the architecture, I kind of want to bring up one point is really try to prove that LLM actually is a solution for you first. This is a very important step is to do a POC to ensure LLM is the right solution before like spending all the time building the front end and back end architecture around it, which could be very costly, right? So for us, we did spend the time to do a POC, and then we also did the Makeathon project to really prove that this is something that we want to go after. And then that counts our high level architecture. And the beauty of it is really simple. There's nothing really like you don't need a brand new kind of complex architecture to support a feature powered by LLM. In our case, it's a straightforward event-driven architecture, which is both efficient and scalable, right? So the process begins when a learner submit a peer review assignment through our application, which then generate an event, and then our consumer will pick it up and then process use of the submission, assembling a prompt, and sending to OpenAI. And then we'll get back the result, and then we store in a database and data lake for further analysis. And kind of that's it. There's no really complicated things to it. We like to keep things simple. I guess the real secret really kind of lies into our prompt and data preparation. And yeah, but the simplest help us to be able to leverage the AI while maintain flexibility and scalability.
Yeah, that's
So Ghana, you're
interesting.
cutting out a little bit, just so you know. Yeah.
That's it. Can you still hear me, Vinny?
Yep, I can.
Perfect. Can you tell a little bit more about AI grading? Maybe that could be one of your secrets. I don't know it is, but can you tell us more on the box? What is going on with the consumer AI grading?
Sure. The consumer plays a critical role in the AI grading process. It starts by assembling the prompt, which involves like collecting and formatting all the different necessary information into a JSON format. And then that could include all the course detail, relevant course detail, assignment details, the question and the rubric, and of course the learner's answer as well, right? To ensure data privacy, we minimize what we need to send from the learner, focus really only on necessary information. That's essential for the model to grade. And then, of course, on the added layer of protection, we also use Azure, which is a trusted and secure platform to guarantee us that no data will be used to train any of the model. This way, we can further safeguard our learners' content and privacy. So beyond just assembling the prompt, we also use a consumer to manage the communication with Azure, incorporating all the error handling and retry strategy to ensure that we have a robust solution. So even though we do use like function calling, sometimes the model might still return invalid result and making it hard for us to proceed forward. Our retry strategy is tailored to the most common problem that we see through our testing. But in general, we do see that simply retrying the request or even adjusting some of the setting like temperature or like even the version of the model could be pretty effective retry strategy as well. Yep.
Okay, what is going on in the conversation history? Do you use it for AI grading use case? For other use cases you have,
So I think
you
you're
also
asking
store the
about,
conversations in the sessions.
yeah, so you're asking about the conversation history. We actually don't use it for AI grading in this specific use case, but as used it in other Coursera AI features that we have. Uh, because of our specific need, it's more on a one-time conversation right now for AI grading, so we don't use conversation history, but I'm sure like our coach team would, is something that is
Winnie,
very critical.
can you still hear me? There is a network issue.
I can hear you, but it's a little bit choppy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm talking about conversation history. Do you want to explain, like, do you use it for conversation history for this use case or in general?
Yeah, so kind of to repeat, like we don't use it for this particular use case just because we don't have the need for it, but our other features do. That's why I keep it in that high
Awesome.
level architecture.
Okay, I think going back to your existing learners, I think you talked about 155 millions of learners, right? That's a huge amount of volume of users. And then when they submit the application, I'm sure you have a lot more REST API call coming to the platform. How do you manage the scale and performance of this architecture? Do you want to share something more on that front?
Yeah, sure. So our models are deployed it on Azure as using the proficient throughput units, PTU. For us, it's easier because we can, based on historical data, estimate how much PTU we need, so we can provision that early on. And then with PTU is help us to like kind of guarantee that throughput that we need, and also allow us to like we have numbers so that we can allow us to effectively rate limit incoming traffic if needed. And also it reduced the latency. So from pay as you go, we are seeing about like 24-second to 30-second just for a single request to API to Azure OpenAI APIs. But when we switch over to PTU, we're seeing it went down significantly to 3 to 5 seconds. That really give us to be able to the whole end-to-end turnaround time for our learner is within half a minute to a minute max. So they no longer need to wait a couple of days to get feedback back.
So you're talking about performance gain from 24 seconds to it become 3 seconds, right? Once you
Mhm.
migrated to PDUs, right?
Yeah. And then
Yeah, that's
but we still do keep pay as you go as a kind of like a secondary mechanism. We deploy on a secondary region just in case if we need some spillover tokens, so we can still be able to support it if needed.
Do you also have a retry strategy that built in on your application? So it's retries. If it's a PTU doesn't have the capacity, then it's spillover. You want to talk about that as well?
Yeah, so we do. So as I mentioned, whenever the AI consumer, the AI grading consumer would handle all those retry strategy. It really depends on the error that come back. Like so, for example, if like there's no enough PTU, then we would switch over. But the Azure AI management also would help us handle that as well pretty smoothly.
Awesome. And I do see some observability platform there. So do you monitor the performance of your applications as well? Like example, number of an API request, number of token consumption, all of that also onto the platform?
Yeah, so of course we do have all those as monitoring as we have alert that's set up, make sure that we are kind of within budget, we are serving our learner effectively. If not, then we can negotiate or work on different PTU level and so forth. So yeah, those are stuff that we do monitor. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Winnie. That's fantastic. Okay, so one of the challenge we always have when we talk to customers about model selection, right? This is a challenge that we also went through while we're talking to Coursera, right? Picking the right model for the right use case, right? It's still a challenge in Gen AI application deployment. This question
Mhm.
always comes in: how do I pick the right model with SLMs? Should I go for LLMs? Especially the cost is going down for LLM. Should I stay with LLMs or should I move to SLMs? And if I want to fine tune the model, who should I go for? I'm sure we all went through the journey as well. So I want to hear from you. What is Coursera's strategy about choosing that models, right? Choosing the models, right model for right use case. Why don't we get started from that process?
Yeah, but before we actually dive into the model selection, we need some foundational tools first. First of all, is we need the data. it's crucial to have a robust set of test data as a foundation for prompt and model selection. So in this case of peer review, we do have a large amount of data, but what data can we use? Which one can we use? Which one should we use? How much data should we use is all questions that we need to answer. So we did in-depth data analysis to find submission with different characteristics, such as number of questions, number of rubrics, difficulty level, course domain, etc., to help us to find that list of we anonymize it public assignment submission that we can use as our golden data set. And then we take that data set and then we work with our subject matter expertise across Coursera to review and provide that ground truth grade and feedback. This is a very important foundation because without a good data set, it's very hard for us to evaluate what is good, what is bad when it comes to prompt evaluation and model selection. Once we have the data, then we need a way to test. Nowadays, there's a lot more evaluation tools available. I know there's PromptFlow, there's also a OpenAI eval tool as well. But when we first started it, there weren't a lot of those available, so we actually built our own. So we built our own bulk testing tools that we can use to just a single prompt we can test across multiple assignments and multiple submission as well, that help us to gauge the effectiveness of each prompt and model as well. Later on, we even built an evaluation tool that used LLM as a judge to help us assess the fairness of the grading and helpfulness and so forth to help us to continue to improve the quality of AI grading. So with those in place, then we're finally ready to go into model selection. So as Ghana, you mentioned, there's over 1,600 models available on Azure AI. So which one do we want to go? Like we don't really want to research and try out all 1,600, right? So when it comes to our strategy is we prioritize using off-the-shelf, mature, industry-tested model from trusted partners, and then we fine-tune them with Coursera data if necessary. This really allows us to be able to leverage the existing research and benchmark that like a lot of companies have done, so we don't need to repeat that process. It minimizes our effort to find the model that we need. Yep. And then, yeah, so that's basically our strategy is focus on industry tested off-the-shelf models that allow us to be able to still fine-tune.
Winnie, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
When it comes to fine-tuning, and of course, there are different problems.
You're still a little choppy. So the last I caught is you asking about fine-tuning. Maybe I will answer that. All right. So I think Ghana is a little bit lagging with his internet. Oh, I see he's back. So I think the last I caught is just asking about fine-tuning AI models. Is that correct?
Yeah, the fine-tuning AI model. Of course, there are different venues when you fine-tune the AI model, right? A lot of customer does prompt engineering. Sometimes customer wants to change the labels and fine-tune the labels and then fine-tune the model. So what worked for you? Because every customer is a different story. Every use case is a different story as well. So I would like to, maybe you can share your insight. What worked for you in terms of fine-tuning for your own models?
Yeah, so for our use case, we actually did both experiment with RAG and also with fine-tuning. So with RAG, we did try to see if maybe additional course data, like the transcript, if we plug it into OpenSearch, which could be like which is both our database and the search engine, if that additional data would help us to improve the AI quality. And then in this case, we actually don't find a significant positive improvement to it. So while it might be intuitive that more data could lead to higher quality, we didn't really find it to be the case in this case. And then with fine-tuning, we also experiment with fine-tuning to select training data we use our LLM as a judge evaluator to evaluate human grading. This will allow us to find a set of training data that is high quality human grading, and then we use it to train the model. And then once we have the model, then we can use our bulk testing tool that we can run it along, and then compare it between that model and our baseline model. It does show improvement, but it wasn't significant enough for us to offset the higher maintenance cost. So for now, we decided to focus our prompt engineering primarily on prompt engineering instead, because with the increased token nowadays, you can actually really include a lot of information in it as well. We could include a lot of more specific course specific data inside the prompt. So, for example, including future examples and best practices and so forth, it can help us to improve that fairness of the grading and quality of feedback. So that's why sometimes, yes, RAC is useful, fine-tuning useful, but really try it out with your use case, experiment it. Everyone's different, but it's really, really valuable analysis for us to do, and then we'll continue to do that regularly as well.
So fine tuning, actually, it's an interesting problem you solved. So fine tuning and prompt engineering worked out for you, right? I think that's what you're talking about. It really helped us to make an improvement. How do you, maybe we'll get into the model migration, example, maybe we'll get into the prompt engineering strategy first, then we'll get into how do we
so you're lagging a bit again. So I call it, based on the slides, we talk about prompt engineering strategies. Okay.
Yeah, can you still hear me, Winnie?
Yeah, I can always hear you. Can you hear me? Question.
Yeah, let's go back. I think Azure Studio also offers a prompt catalog where you don't have to get started from ground. You can pick the prompt, default prompt is available, then you can customize it, right? So especially for your scenario, because the learners and educators are going to be different, and how do you come back with the prompts, the prompts that for your use cases? Tell me about the prompt engineering techniques that we have within Coursera.
Yeah, and this is where I would love to be able to tell you, oh, you know what, I have this secret prompt recipe that you can all follow and you'll get the highest quality result back. But unfortunately, I don't have that. Prompt engineering was a new area for us. So we did dedicate an engineer on it. But it's actually not primarily like prompt engineering is not so much primarily about technical expertise. So we start off really working closely is with our expert in the field, like our teaching and learning expert, to identify best practices, what are some good examples, what are some bad examples, so we can feed that all to the prompt and educate the prompt. And then afterwards, really just keep testing it, keep rigorously test it, test the prompt, find out what's the weakness, keep improving it. Maybe we need an example here. Maybe we need to more tighten that instruction there. Maybe we need to emphasize a certain keyword. All those are stuff that we basically keep testing, we keep improving it, and once we have a good enough quality, then we will bulk test it across our data set and then see if it's remain consistent across the large data set.
Okay, interesting. How do you do the course rubric, especially when you do different type of prompts? In AI, Azure OpenAI LLM models is treating your course rubrics along with the course submission over here.
Yeah, so in this example you see in here, we have the same question, the same answer, but then you can kind of see in the left example, the learner got full score, like a 5 points. But in the second example, the learner only get 3 points. And it's really the same assignment. Why, right? The problem lies in the rubric criteria. So consider a lot of our majority of our prompt is still really rely on the instructor created rubric. So which is why the rubric creation is very important. The rubric definition is very important, right? So in this case, if the rubric is a little bit vague, like the learner attempt to answer this question, the AI might take it more literally. Oh, regardless of the quality of the attempt, they will say, yes, the learner did attempt to answer that question. But that might not be the intention of the instructor, right? So we do spend a lot of time to review existing assignment to make sure that we only select the one that's high quality enough for AI grading to be able to generate a high quality result.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're talking about when it comes to assignment, right? Did I get it right?
Yeah, so the rubric, even the questions, sometimes the questions, if there's some embedded knowledge within the question, like something maybe the instructor taught more in class that assume there's some assumption in the question, it makes AI grading a little bit more difficult as well, because it may not be something that's known to the prompt or known to the model. So question could be one, rubric would be one. So we want to really have question and rubric that's very clearly defined, that even like let's say a new TA going into the course without much additional background to it, they would be able to fairly evaluate it. That's kind of the rule of thumb that we stick to.
Got it. Understood. Okay, that's a phenomenal insights, Winnie. So do you want to talk about this example, like especially let's get into some of the model and A and B testing, especially when you have multiple models that are getting launched. Especially we have, I think Coursera's pioneered with the GPT 3.5, and then right now we're talking about GPT 4o mini. It's being deployed also at Coursera for different assistants. So do you want to tell us, how do you test these prompts and across different models? What is some of the strategy do you use?
Yeah, so even though we do have like a data set to help us to like test the performance of it before we even roll it out to our learner, it's still a subset of the data, right? So we value our learners' feedback a lot. So we do run A/B testing, and we do like start with beta testing as well to get a lot of the learner feedback. From that, we would not only do we collect a whole bunch of different metrics like pass rate, fail rate, how often, how fast are people completing the assignment, and so forth. We also have a feedback mechanism for our learner to give us feedback as well. So in here, you see there's thumbs up and thumbs down. So learners can tell us if they like that feedback or don't like that feedback. Also, we notice that we know that AI could be wrong sometimes. And for AI ethic and also for credibility of our grading, we do allow learner to opt back to human grading for now, to if in case they're not satisfied with the AI grading, so that they can always have a way to go back to the human grading to have a different perspective, maybe sometimes, or uh, the human grading as well. So kind of in this step of the journey is we POC the solution, and then we build out a solution, and then this is where we deploy. We start with deploying with beta testing and A/B testing to collect the human feedback, and then we really we continuously monitor all the different metrics that we have, and then we'll go back and review all the feedback that our learner give us to us, and then we would continue to improve either our prompts, or we put in additional test cases, and keep on improving our solution, basically.
Yeah, that is the whole MLOps story, right? You collect this user feedback, learners feedback, and then incorporate those recommendations into your assistants, and then you recommend the right feedback, right content after that back to the users. Yeah, that's a great use case, and I'm happy to see this. It's getting adopted as well. Let's get into some more monitoring and the improvement as well. And I see that Azure Studio and using some of the evaluators for evaluating some performance as well. Do you want to talk about some of the metrics? What do you want to measure in terms of performance as well for different questions?
So we have a lot of different metrics that we collect. For example, first pass rate, or number of thumbs up, number of thumbs down. Even we collect AI failure error rate as well. Like if there's a particular type of assignment that is failing more often than the other. So we keep on monitoring all those. So for now, I would say that we are, because we have a lot of internal tools that we build in, so we do continues to monitor that, and we also ETL all our requests and response into our data lake. This allows us to be able to monitor all offline without like hitting any of the online data spaces. It helps us to be able to even run our LLM as a judge evaluator to gauge the AI's grading quality as well. So all this is being continuously to monitor. A lot of it right now, we are still looking for we're actively looking for a monitoring tool to help us to do this more automatically, but something definitely we're looking to improve.
Awesome. Let's get into a couple of more things, especially on the cost and token optimizations, and especially when it comes to OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, and how are you seeing this, Winnie, from Coursera perspective? Do you think the assistants taking the advantage of the cost? Do you think we are more assistants get rolled out across Coursera?
So yeah, definitely. So I remember when we first we started this feature, we did have to go through a lot of budget estimation, projection of the budget, and so forth, and then getting budget approval. But really, as you see, the model is getting cheaper and cheaper. It's much and much more available and affordable now. This budget approval process is getting easier. A lot of the team actually are creating LLM features as well. So definitely getting a lot easier. Before we would although we prioritize quality over cost, but we did do runs of like token optimization. But now, to be honest, the token is so cheap. Like we love to include more information if it helps quality to even improve more. So less concern on the cost. I think Ghana might be lagging a little bit. Can you hear me?
Awesome. So that is the question that I have for Winnie. I have one more question before we close out, Winnie. Maybe that's the last one I have. Tell me about for GenAI adoptions and the future of AI assistants, where it is heading in Coursera, right? If you can share for all our listeners, give us, you build AI grading, AI coach, and then course builder. Where is it heading, at least for this year? Especially, we see a lot of changes around happening on Azure OpenAI, and fees that will come out. Tell us about your vision for getting to know this, where the assistants are heading in Coursera in general.
Yeah, so I think with LLM becoming more useful, more powerful, I definitely see it helps to personalize the learning journey, makes it a lot easier for us to really tailor the learning to individuals' need. For example, just kind of look back to AI grading. Uh, we were able to provide 900 times faster feedback than human grading with a 45 times more detailed feedback. So learner able to really immediately be able to learn more about what's good about the work and what could be improved about the work. And they could even try again, which is all not possible before. And from that, we're seeing 16.7% increase in course completion within a day of the peer review submission. So this is really giving us a lot of confidence in how AI is helping our learner overall in their experience in their learning. So a lot of very detailed, very exciting new features going to come up. I know for us, from my team and my peers' teams as well. So definitely would love to share it as things are ready to be shared.
Awesome. That's great, Winnie. Thank you very much for spending your time with us. This has been definitely great, sharing your experience on building out the GenAI architecture with Azure OpenAI services. And we look forward to supporting you and building more use cases that's coming in the future as well. And that's all we have. Open to any questions that you may have for either Winnie or to me at Microsoft.
I think there's a question on the chat. Maybe you can help to answer it better than I do. Is it possible to use Gen AI on Power BI?
Yeah, GenAI for features on Power BI, yes, we do have Copilot that is available with part of the Power BI. You can use it as long as you load the data in Power BI. It comes with a Copilot functionality. You will be able to explore and create some of the reporting that you really wanted, and you can use GenAI to interact with the data through natural language code, and then you can create the reports. It is supported. Check out Power BI in Copilot options. Any other questions, Winnie, on the chat?
I'm reading the chat, but let me see. Mhm. So there's a chat question. Since there's so many Coursera courses on AI, I'm new to OpenAI service and Azure. Can you recommend a couple of courses to get me in-depth understanding and get hands-on on creating agents? So there are a lot of courses. Definitely recommend checking it out. As we have something called the GenAI Academy. Um, and then there's also a couple courses on from Deep Learning AI that really provide a very good overall of Gen AI. That's directly from Andrew Inc. So those are the ones that I highly recommend. Also, there's one for I think it's called Gen AI from Vanderbilt University. That is a very good one to take. There's a whole specialization on it as well. It's a very good fundamental to learn and really get the right mindset to Gen AI. Because to me, like prompt is easy, right? You just go to chatgpt.openai and then you type a question and answer. But that's not the most effective way to use Gen AI. It's really like having the right mindset. How to more effective use it is much more useful than learning any prompt technique. I don't know, Ghana, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the good way to get started is absolutely Coursera. All courses Vinny said was fantastic. I will also check if you're interested. We do have Microsoft also has a lot more GenAI courses. Check our learning portal as well, especially on GenAI courses. You can get started from there. And then once you are into some of the projects, you want to try some hands-on, try some projects, and that's where some of the courses that's recommended by the Vinny. You can also expert in Coursera as well, right? Together, we wanted to support and we wanted to increase the adoption of Gen AI, bringing the knowledge to the field. Yeah, you can use either Microsoft or in combination with Coursera for taking you to the learning journey as well. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of Microsoft partner content that we have on Coursera as well. So,
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. There is also content available on Microsoft also in Coursera. Explore whatever journey that you are in. You are beginners or intermediate or advanced level. We have content available on this platform as well.
cool.
Some of the questions. Anna, are you there?
I sure am.
Fantastic.
Can you pull us any question from the chat, maybe?
I believe we have answered the questions that I see in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, presenters. Thank you, everyone else, for joining us. Anything last words?
Yeah, so really excited. Thank you for inviting me, having me here today. I think we face a lot of different challenge and exciting moments throughout our AI production to path to production journey. But highly really encourage you all to try it out. Like if there's a problem set that you think LLM can help solve, definitely try it out. Like and play around with it. It's actually a lot easier than we thought it would be, especially with all the different tools available out there, especially like what Ghana mentioned, a lot of the AI Studio functionality is simpler than we thought. So definitely encourage everyone to try it out.
Awesome. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anna. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks again, everyone. We're always looking to improve our sessions and your experience. If you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find the link for our survey on the screen or in the chat. Today's event code is 22670. We'll see you at the next one.